And we begin. Hello. Hi, welcome to Everything But the Scores with Danny Jollis. My name is Danny Jollis. Today is Tuesday, October 4th, 2022. For those of you watching for the first time, thanks for tuning in. This is all the stories around sports. So if you watch a ton of sports, these are all the stories I don't cover a lot. If you don't watch sports at all, these are all stories you'll be able to follow. And it's been a great week of sports. Sports are kicking at full gear once again. Basketball coming back soon. Hockey preseason begun, which nobody watches, but we technically count it. Baseball about to enter the playoffs when some would argue baseball begins. And football at full sprint. Ooh. It's the best time to be alive.
Oh my God, there's so many sports.
It's truly the best. If you like the show, subscribe, rate, comment, tell a friend. You all know what's coming in a week and a half, so get ready for that also. Now, joining me is co-producer, co-host, co-friend. No cop for everybody.
Hello, co-friend. Good to see you.
And sometimes we have a guest here, sometimes we don't. Last week, we did not have a guest. Because this said guest.
I knew this was coming.
Drama off top.
This guest overslept, some would say, others would say, built tension.
Yes.
And created excitement for this week's show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
He is a great comic. He is a great friend. You have seen him on Conan. You will see him in the upcoming film Babylon.
Oh, someone else is in that too.
Also starring. Also featuring me. Ladies and gentlemen, JC Currais.
Hey!
Yay!
It's my birthday.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Today?
October 4th.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
Hey, no, but for purposes, this is my birthday.
Of course, because we're filming it
Well,
today.
happy freaking birthday.
This
Thank
is
you so
this is
much.
filmed live, of course.
Yes. This is live. It's live.
Happy-
That's why it's so raw and uncut.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Yeah, you. We were both in Babylon. Mm-hmm. Both can't wait to see it. Both did not make the trailer, but you made a photo.
Yeah, I'm like, if you can find me in the party sequence, even in the trailer, you can find me. It's just you have to go looking.
Yeah.
So
I'm technically ducking out of a frame, but I know that the blur you see behind Brad
Yes.
Pitt is me. Mm-hmm. And we thought about posting it, and we were like, it's too sad. I can't
just wait for it to be out.
I can't post a blur, but it was close. I am
so close to
in
being
that
in
shot.
that trailer. Ooh,
I could really
getting in that trailer would have been
It
sweet.
would have been the best. We're both early in the movie.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spoilies.
And maybe later in the movie, who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. Maybe my character dies.
Who knows? Who knows? Maybe our characters aren't important enough where we even know what their fates are. Ooh. Who's to say? Did you play sports growing up, JC?
I did. Mm-hmm.
What'd you play?
I played football. I played baseball, and those are the things I was on teams for. And then a lot of basketball, but like just pickup games and goofing around. But yeah, high school football, and then when I was younger, I did like middle school. I was like baseball and football.
Right, and then football, but you like committed to football at a certain point.
Yeah. When I got to high school, I was until about my junior year. I hurt my neck, and then I was just a lot of injuries. I beat myself up pretty bad. Mm-hmm. A lot of head stuff.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Concussions?
For sure.
Wow.
And just
topical.
Absolutely
topical. And a topical topic.
Yeah. For sure. Just played. Didn't even. Yeah.
Ugh.
Just went.
Do you remember it?
No, there are full games I don't remember.
Wow. Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah, for sure. Lineman. So, all we did was bonk heads.
That's so crazy to me. Because I've watched, I've said, like, to me, the best videoed concussion thing I've seen is on season 4 or 5 of Hard Knocks. Or not Hard Knocks, of, for Last Chance U.
Okay.
They catch a kid mid-concussion, and he talks his way out of the protocol. And then gets back on the field, and then you see him after the game fully lose his mind. Yeah. And then the next morning he's like, by the end it's like him fighting.
Oh yeah.
He's just like complete. Everyone's like, "What is happening to you?"
Yeah.
And then he wakes up next morning. He's like, "So I don't remember."
And that's pretty much what I mean. It's like your lizard brain takes over and just drives the car, but the lights aren't on.
So crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
But also, like, I've had ones where I was like, fine, and I for sure was concussed, but then I didn't have too many effects. I just knew it because I was like nauseous after, but like, because that's a weird feeling to have. You're like, I just did something that shouldn't make me nauseous, but I'm like, I'm going to throw up right now. Yeah, there's something bad happening in your brain parts.
We used to, and it's so sad how the more we learn, because it used to be like, you would see footage of a football player throwing up on the field, and you'd be like, God, playing through the pain.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, it's not pain. It's literally his brain is actively hurting, and that's what your brain does when you don't know what to do. Is
It's just like, well, get everything out of there.
Get some shit out of here.
Get it out.
Empty the pockets. Get
What's in his pockets? Get it out of there.
What a night.
He's so bumped, he's got to get his stuff out of his pockets.
And so you played through junior year, and then you finally were like, I can't.
I was like, nah, I'm done. Yeah, like going into junior year, it was like, yeah, like it was like a very casual thing. I was just in hitting drills. We were just hitting, but we had really terrible practice jerseys. The buckle of my helmet got caught.
Give me a little volume on them.
Sorry, I can bring it closer too. We were just hitting, and then the little attachment piece that you buckle your chin strap with got caught on another player's ripped jersey, and then we just ran in opposite directions. So I was full sprint going this way, he was full sprint going that way, and my neck just went quack. And I lost consciousness and all that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Like everyone was like, "Oh no, JC's dead." No. They're just smelling salted me awake, and then they were like, "You good?" I'm like, "No, I don't like this. Hurts."
That's the spirit. Get out there.
Yeah. All right. Good. Get back out there.
And you're like, I'm done. Doing that was it. You were like, I'm done.
Yeah. I think that was when I was like, that's the decision point. Yeah.
We're not going pro at this anymore.
I was too small, like height wise. You know, I was a big dude. So, and when you're like a defensive tackle position, it's kind of good to be like sneaky small big because I could squeeze in there. So it depended on the situation. If they needed to clog things up, I wasn't in. If they needed somebody to try and get some pressure up the middle and maybe squeeze past somebody, that's what I was.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool you played through it. I mean, you played it for real, minus the injuries, which is my issue with high school sports in general. Is
knees, wrists, ankles, all my wrist, like my fingers, like they're all
forever.
like.
I have a part of a joke that's for the new special where I talk about there's you play high school sports and you just have an injury that's just around for the rest of your life for a game that did not matter at all, and you just forever can't move this because it's because of a game that could not have mattered less in the moment.
Oh, not at all.
Could not have been less.
0.
And yet fully this finger just doesn't work, and that's the thing for the rest of your life, and it'll only probably get worse.
Just like can like my ankle click in a weird way, I can just like click it.
Sure. Ooh.
Yeah.
Wow. Not picked up on
audio, but you heard their reaction. It's gross.
Well, just so little that you were doing to cause it. I think
it's
what threw me. Yeah. It was. I think it was the lack of movement because I can crack everything, but there's effort. I have to do something. You just seem to look at your ankle
and it
cracked, which can't be good. That can't be. Now I know the answer to this question, but this is one of our two questions we have to ask out of the gates. Do you watch any sports?
I do.
Tell us about it.
I watch so much sports. No, I love all sports. Like, probably my favorite's football. I love basketball. I love it. Huge Miami Heat fan. Big Los Angeles Rams fan. Baseball. I'm getting back into it. I'm like working my way back into baseball. I have a place in Atlanta, and I'm gonna try out Braves. I was a Marlins fan growing up, but I was a Braves fan before then because there was no Marlins when I started watching.
So many of us, because same here with the Nationals.
Yeah.
And back in the day, the Atlanta Braves had a TBS deal.
Exactly.
So it was the only...
Turner.
So unless you had a local team, that was the only team you could follow consistently.
Right. So you watch the Braves.
So I got into the Braves.
Yeah. And it's cool just because, like, I'm in Atlanta now that when they're playing, it's so easy. The stadium's great.
Yes.
So when I was in Atlanta recently, I mean, I went to like 6 games.
That's great.
Just for the fun. I mean, super inexpensive. I mean, it's a great day. Great day at the ballpark.
It's a great day at the ballpark.
Great day at the ballpark.
Let me tell you something. Baseball is a great live sport.
Yes.
Because the pressure, but then, because it's like, I've also been to a World Series game, and that's not fun.
Yeah.
That's stressful. That's not a good time. Don't recommend it unless it's your team.
I was young when I went to a World Series game for the Marlins, so it was less. There wasn't as much pressure. It was like, yay, whip, yippee!
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, my dad and I like showed up and we were like, we literally did a thing like before the game started. We were like, let's just appreciate this moment because this is not going to be fun.
Yeah.
But
it's stressful.
But we have to say we went and we did it. But then a normal baseball game, just a good time.
It's great.
We're just going to drink, watch a great game.
Have a few beers.
Yeah.
Couple hot dogs, 6, 7 more beers, 2 more, 3 more hot dogs, chicken sandwich, whatever they'll feed me. I just stay. I don't watch the game. I just sit by the concession stand. They're like, what is this guy trying to prove something?
Have you been to a game yet? Because I've started now because of Hollywood, like doing the like VIP shit. Have you done any of that stuff?
I haven't had the opportunity. I have season tickets to the Rams, so I have my regular seat.
That's great.
It's great. It is really great. And that stadium's a chapel.
Incredible.
It is a church.
Incredible. SoFi Stadium in LA. And I'm a big, like, the old stadium was fine, guy. I'm a big, like, we don't need to be building another stadium.
Yeah.
Guys, come on.
No.
What are we really improving?
I think what we need to do is just get the Chargers out of here.
Yes, but then SoFi's
get out of here.
SoFi's one of the few new stadiums I've been to where I'm like, okay, this is a different thing. This is if you're gonna build a new stadium and take a bunch of taxpayer money, let's at least build the best stadium.
Yeah. But see, you got a pitch perfect experience. You know what I mean?
I did. But I've been there. But I've been there for normal stuff also. I went there for an extreme thing, yes. I did go to the Super Bowl.
Cool.
It was the coolest.
So cool. Wish I could have done that. But buying my seats would have cost me $55,000 to go to the Super Bowl.
It was insane. I mean,
I passed on that.
And let me tell you, when you're at the game, almost every single person you're seeing, you're like, oh, nobody paid to be here.
Right.
It is basically it's only companies that can afford seats, and then it's companies giving it out.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to be caught on a tailwind of somebody who got a ticket last minute himself.
So awesome.
So I just caught that tail, got myself in there, but nobody's paying.
Got to see my team get the chip.
It was great. At the time in the SoFi box. So It was with people who could not have cared more.
They didn't give a shit?
No, they cared so much. Oh,
that's good. Awesome.
They were literally the company SoFi. So they were...
Oh, that's awesome.
Who I cannot shout out enough as a company for the way they treated us that day. Yeah. And I don't know SoFi.
And if you know... Another comedian who he goes to games all the time. He's a big fan. SoFi, if you're watching, I'd love to just go into the room, the box, and just smell it for a second, and then I'll leave.
It's a beautiful box.
I will just smell the air in there, and I'll get out of your way.
It's a beautiful place. But SoFi is a great state. A really good.
It really is. I love it. It's a really fun place to go. I didn't get the one thing I will say is a pain. Is there's only one tailgating parking lot. Oh. Yeah, so there's only limited space. I'm a season ticket holder, and I didn't get a tailgate parking spot.
And you'd be
Real
so
bummer.
fun to You'd be so fun.
It's
to
a lot of
with.
fun. Yeah, I have a good time. I wish that we were better at preparing for it. It's so early in the morning a lot of times. Yeah.
Well, it's hard. I mean, LA, the sports in LA are tough. Like these London games, they're doing London games right now. Those you don't watch sports. They start at 6:30 a.m. and it's
I skipped it.
Of course you did. I tried to catch the second half, but I assume our friend James, who is a fan of one of the teams playing there,
the
must
Vikings.
have just woken up at 6 in the morning.
I think he skipped it too. Even
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Good for him.
Yeah. Well, he roots for 2 teams, so
I hate that.
Yeah, see, like that's the thing. I get a lot of crap because I switched from Dolphins to Rams. But I do not root for the Dolphins now.
Yes.
I actively root against them.
You commit. If you're going to commit, you got to commit to the bit.
Correct. Like I am a Rams fan. I no longer affiliate myself with the Miami Dolphins. They hurt me for too long. I left. And I feel like more people need to be able to stand up and say, I'm not putting up with it anymore. And now they're playing, they have a great team now, and I'm not going to suddenly come back.
I mean, as somebody who roots for a team that is actively evil.
Yes, that's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
It's tough.
But I want to be the one to tell you this. You can walk away.
I want to be the one to tell you this.
You can't.
I'll tell you this. Not while my dad is still alive.
Okay, got it.
I can't. I think if something horrible were to happen, and I was able to genuinely be like, okay, it won't destroy my family dynamic.
Yeah.
But I still believe. I don't know.
I catch a lot of shit from my family for sure.
Yeah, I can't handle that.
But I'm out here, you know, and like I'm not like the Rams moved back to town while I was living here.
Yep. Oh, I thought about it. When the Rams came here, I was like, this is technically a moment to switch. This is, if I'm going to have a moment, it's right now.
I took the moment.
I didn't
and
take
they
it.
were bad when they came back,
I didn't
which
take it.
I got to, I was there for that.
Yeah, but because you got our coach who was thinking, listen, we could get into the specifics of the Rams and stuff all day, but it's time to talk about real stories. Let's hit the theme music.
Sports.
Let's go!
You're a number one fan, so you know the stats. Heard all the pundits talking, so you know enough of that. Maybe it's time to hear some crazy folks chat about all the other stuff that's behind the net. But maybe you don't care about playing ball, and you want to hear the gossip whether big or small. Maybe it's time to hear some funny folks talk about what goes on when the batter don't walk. Maybe you'd like to hear a little more. Maybe you don't even care about sports. Either way, go on and buckle up your shorts. Cause this is everything but the scores with Danny Jollis. Yeah, doggity.
And we're back. Our first story is a story that spans multiple sports, which is right now, JC, I don't know if you're following this. We're in a golden age of cheating in minor sports.
I'm not following it specifically, but I love it. I love it. I am for cheating if you get away with it.
If you get away with it. I also actually agree with that look, if you can cheat in a way that you genuinely never get caught.
Yep.
Okay.
Know a lot of guys that do it all the time. Their girlfriends don't know anything about it.
We all do know some people like that.
It's Hollywood, baby.
Hollywood, baby.
I do. I think that like you can bend the rules, like because like you know in major sports, the rules or at least how they're enforced are so subjective.
Well, and I think that's how you're going to cheat. What you want to do is you want to cheat in a way that's very hard to prove.
Yes.
And you want to cheat in a way where if you are caught, for example, I would use Deflategate of the Patriots.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Where you can go, well, hang on, is that a rule? And there's a lot of, we're unclear on what the rule is here. It was unclear. So were they cheating or did they find a loophole which they took advantage of? Exactly. So that I respect.
Right. And I also think that, like, with that, like, the ball, it was the same ball, right? Like, that's what it is. So, like...
What did we do wrong?
Right. The defense, I understand that, like, it's, like, less... I don't know the logistics of why it was helping him so much and hurting the defense. You know? Like...
Yes.
It was easier to catch for the receivers than it was easier to catch for the corners.
The fact that, to this day... people like you and I who follow sports on an extreme level go, still not quite sure what it was that made a difference and how it was cheating.
Right.
Says how brilliant cheating it was.
Right.
Because it seems like every professional player is like, no, it's cheating.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, but it's a good job of cheating because I'm still not sure.
Right. I mean, like,
aren't they just mad as cheating because it's different from what it's supposed to be?
Yes.
Like, they
it's a loophole.
Right. They did a little thing and it, they got away with it.
So we have covered on this show a couple weeks ago, and we've talked about it. In chess, there's a cheating controversy.
The robot ripping off the kid's arm?
That is a great story. That is a great story. But
careful, guys. They're going to start winning chess and killing your children at the same time.
I know. It did feel like the next step in how the robots take over was like, oh, this robot seems to have gotten upset about losing at chess. Feels like what comes next
is the murder.
Yeah.
Oh, he's holding a human heart.
Yeah. Now he's upset, and the robot is screaming, "Now I have your king." So we're all a little concerned about it. There was a cheating accusation by Magnus Carlsen, pulled out of a tournament, said that he thought somebody was cheating against him, a person who had been caught cheating before. He said many people claim the way he would have been cheating was through a vibrating something or other. potentially through anal beads. The story was a full stop for this show.
And we had to cover it right away.
I basically, first off, and also the people who listen to the show are so nice, and they do send me stories, and that was one that I got 15 times in the day it broke. Of people being like, obviously this is...
And then what's the sport? Sorry.
That is chess.
In chess. Oh, and vibrating...
Anal beads, potentially.
Helped
because he's getting from basically a computer.
Oh,
what
he's
to play.
getting information. Okay,
Yes.
got it.
It was a player who had been accused of cheating before. Mm-hmm. Seemed like it would.
Got it. So the same with the way you would cheat or like card counting and that sort of thing.
Yes, but they weren't able to prove it. Can't prove it.
Therefore,
seemingly Magnus Carlsen is potentially a sore loser because he did lose the match. Potentially this guy cheated.
Or he's not willing to go that far and shove something up his ass for his sport.
It does seem a little crazy, but the kind of commitment we like to see.
Yep.
Then, over the weekend, a massive poker controversy erupted.
Ooh.
In a high-stakes poker game in a hand worth $270,000.
That's money.
A poker pro Rabbi Jade Liu against a Garrett Adelstein, who is a very good poker player, plays. And for those of you that don't watch poker, I'm going to make this as easy as possible. Plays a Jack 4 offsuit versus a 9-8 suited. The flop comes basically. He has an open-ended flush and straight draw, like Jack 10, 10, but 2 clubs. He bets a ton. She calls. Turn is a blank. He bets a ton. She raises him. She has nothing. She has 0. But technically the better hand. He goes all in for $130,000. She calls it with Jack high.
The balls.
Insane.
Yeah. And then he stands up and threw dust into the dealer's eyes and just left with all the chips. And that is cheating.
He pulled out an old-timey Tommy gun and he was like, give me the money.
Yeah.
It's an insane call.
Yes, please. It's an insane call.
Can't. And so.
Guts.
Yeah. And foolhardiness.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Some would argue.
Yeah.
He loses the hand. The final card is a blank. He then flips out. There is some sort of fight with her where he accuses her of cheating in some way.
Okay.
She gives him back the money.
What?
The clip is too long, but you guys can look this up online. It's on live stream, so this is all just caught. Everybody's very confused what's happening. Then another person walks out because she gave the money back because he's like, that's fucking ridiculous. Are we playing poker or are we not playing poker?
That's ridiculous.
That's what poker is.
Right, you're done, bud.
You lost your money. What are you going to do? But he accuses her of cheating.
Was it tournament style or could he have bought back in technically?
He had more money than her. No, it was not. It was just a high stakes poker game.
They're just playing, right? So then the guy who walked out is an idiot because that's not how.
It seems like it's similar.
It's her money. She can do whatever she wants with it.
Yes, and it's similar to the Magnus Carlsen situation where unproven. We don't have any proof that she cheated.
But by giving the money back, it feels like you're almost admitting,
which is complicated. But then she says she was bullied into it. She claims now he bullied me. He yelled at me. Blah blah. He's accused me of these things.
Yeah, that is bullshit.
Which is bullshit to do.
Right. Essentially, what he did is rob her. Then.
Yes, and this happened in Hustler Casino. This is in a massive casino on a live stream. Like this is. To the poker world. The poker world is at a full stop over this.
This is behind. It's not in behind a kitchen. It's not like Goodfellas style where you have to go through the door.
And it's like, well, how will we ever know? It's like, there's 100 cameras in that room. If she cheated, she cheated, and
They'd see it.
I'm like, either she cheated, or she didn't. But what we can't have is not sure.
Right.
And similar to chess, I don't know if we'll ever know if he actually cheated.
I mean, they're watching. There's footage that is conclusive. In that if it's at a casino,
yes,
because they're watching everyone. I've been at a pie gow table and it's 5 a.m. and I went like this. I kind of half fell asleep for a second, and they were like, "You're done." The dealer didn't notice.
Yeah,
but they came and they were like, "Sir, you are too drunk to play. And I'm like, and
They're showing you footage of yourself.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, is it probably one more for me? I play, or you can cop my drink.
And all this brings us to
Yes.
at the Lake Erie Walleye Trail event.
Oh my God.
Chase Kaminsky and his partner Jake Runyon are in a walleye fishing event. This is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars if you win this thing.
Mm-hmm. So again, like high stakes.
Oh, very high stakes. They have won many things. These are champions.
Whoa.
They
have a pedigree.
They weigh in their fish. Their fish weigh a lot. They are clearly going to win. Somebody pulls them back in and says, I want to cut open your fish. And this is the exciting moment.
We got weights and fish. There we go.
What proceeds to happen next is everybody surround this man and basically threaten to murder him.
Jake, I want you to leave. I don't want anybody to touch these guys. I want you to leave.
It's going to be hard to put him in jail for this.
Yes. Hard to put him in jail.
Hard to put in jail. This is him cutting it open. And the correct question is, how many fucking tournaments had they done this?
How many times have they been cheating?
These are multiple time winners. This is him pulling out weights.
Wow.
I mean, just caught in every way.
Because they had weights and other fish fillets.
Yes, they had fillets inside.
Oh my God.
The kind of controversy we live for on this show.
Oh my, every fish. Whoa, I mean.
A filleted fish.
This is just a filleted.
This is a fillet, yeah. A fillet fish. It's a walleye fillet.
And I don't want to make it the whole story, but I hate with this guy's shoes so much. I hate his fucking sandals with every ounce of my being. And the fact that I've had to watch this clip 75 times over the weekend and had to look at those sandals. And I just have to point it out.
They are the worst sandals I have possibly ever seen. And I live with Chris Copenhaver. So. Chris Cope, for those not in the know, he cuts off the haver.
And this guy, this is him. I mean, this is the most.
This is the guy who's caught?
This is the most caught man of all time.
I mean, he's dead to rights.
I mean, just that look at. I have.
Yeah, I think because they were saying the cops were like, because it could be fraud because they've done it, they've won so many. Like,
right.
it is one of those things where, but like that's the case is like.
So they had actually been, there had been issues with them before.
Mm-hmm.
At last year's fall brawl fishing tournament, the duo was
the illustrious fall brawl.
The duo was disqualified following their win after one of them failed a polygraph test. That is apparently how they check fish usually, which is, I don't know much about the fishing world. I don't want to weigh in on a world I don't know.
Insane.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Why don't we cut open the fish like we did here?
Yeah. I think that they don't want to ruin the fish.
Polygraph test?
Feels like we should be opening the fish up.
Yeah. Well, now I think they're going to have a policy where they're going to open the fish. And if not, X-ray machine. If you don't want to destroy the fish, I get that. Some people, it's like a trophy.
Yes.
Right.
I think one of them. Hey, let's cut open one of them.
Well, no, I don't like that because what if they're just, that's the luck of the draw then. It's like, ooh, good thing they didn't check the one that I had all those weights in.
Sure, that's fair.
Right.
But I had a 15-pound dumbbell stuffed inside.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, sure.
I just wanted them to keep pulling more weird stuff out of the fish.
I mean, they
Car keys.
Yeah, like, this one's got a whole Happy Meal in it.
When I tell you I watched a 15-minute video of this incident, I have watched this 100 times. Yes. I have yelled, "We got weights and fish!" 75 times over the weekend.
I mean, it is a catchphrase.
It is a catchphrase.
It should catch on.
And the level of excitement from that guy when the moment when he catches him, where it's just the excitement.
Yeah, because he's like, Because I bet this guy's been thinking they've been cheating the whole fucking time.
Yes. Oh, I mean, you hear, there we go.
Yeah.
Like,
You
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
Well, because you can hear other people being like, I mean, we all knew it, man. Like,
So when you watch the longer video, you hear the rumblings of people being like, that fish seems smaller than my fish. Weighing in more. I mean, and I'll say this, and I'll also say this, and this is where it comes down to bad cheating. Clearly,
Right.
too many weights.
Yes, absolutely too many weights. But the problem is they
One
probably
weight per-
don't win without that many weights. They weighed it pre-weights.
Yes.
And then stuffed them filled because they had to get to that level.
I wonder. I'm very curious because I imagine they come right off the boat and have to turn in their fish. So my guess is they had to go with like, what do we think is going to win? And I think they overshot it.
Right.
Because this one, I mean,
we've got this carp weighing in at 1,500 pounds.
feels right. Standard.
There's heroin in this one.
Got weights and fish. I mean, I've yelled it
weird.
so many times. It is an all-time cheating moment.
I mean, dead to rights.
Dead to rights. Dead potentially for real. I am very curious.
I'm surprised someone didn't attack them. Because these guys, now not to put stereotypes, but I assume the people in the fishing world, quick to violence.
Well, I'm also quick to violence. I'm also going to say, and I don't want to generalize also,
Yeah.
I'm going to say probably a lot of guns there.
I'd say at least one.
At least one.
There's at least one gun,
I would say many of these-
and we already saw knives.
We
They
saw-
have knives.
we saw knives.
They have them. They cut the fish open.
The video of when the camera goes to that guy and he's just
Yeah, I mean, because he's like, well, my career's over.
my career, my life. What even happens next?
I mean, what happens next is you separate yourself from fishing and you take the money you've already stolen and hope they don't come after that.
Sure.
That's it.
Move to Fiji.
Yeah. Go enjoy. Go enjoy that fish money.
I
Sweet, sweet carp money.
and it does sound like they've won hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it does seem as if they've won a solid amount of fish money.
For sure. For sure. These guys are set.
They are set.
Unless they're spending at because that's what happens.
But
when
you'd
you're
hope,
like,
but you'd hope that they'd had a conversation being like at some point. Okay, hey, obviously
no,
at some
no.
point we're gonna get
Anyone
caught.
who's doing that sort of stuff never has that conversation.
No,
They're
yeah.
not they're not logical because they're like, we're getting away with it.
Sure.
So they're spending all that money. We'll just win another fucking tournament, dude.
Yeah, it's all that. It's like the mob movies. Like one more job.
Yeah.
It's like we're never gonna get caught.
Yeah, how could they catch us? And then jail, dead.
Yeah, dead. Chase Kaminsky, Jake Runyon. Maybe the greatest cheating story I've seen in quite some time.
Wow. I mean, they are pieces of shit.
Pieces of shit.
And here's the thing. Earlier I was like, yeah, like cheating can be good. This is fucked up.
As we said in the beginning, can't get caught. And you certainly can't. Got to find a loophole. I'll tell you right now, that's in the rules.
That's the whole thing. That's what the fishing is, right? It's like what the fish weighs.
Hey, something you caught in there is not fish.
Yeah. So
Now, the only thing I'll say in their defense is the fact they were doing polygraph tests does feel like it opened up the ability to cheat in this world. I would say the polygraph test thing is insane, and I encourage the fishing community to figure that part out.
I agree, and
Maybe run a metal detector over it.
anything.
Let's do something.
Well, no, because they could just shove fish fillets in there. So the lead weight obviously does the most work.
the lead
Does the
weights
heavy
being-
lifting,
the lead weights,
if you will.
The lead weights being pulled out are definitely the most aggressively insane part.
Also, you got to realize that, like, when they put those lead balls in there, did they wait for the fish to die out of the water, or were they just like, eat this fucking lead?
How do you get it in?
The fish is like,
Nothing could
You're
possibly.
feeding me more fish. I hate this.
Nothing could possibly be worse than being caught.
surely my pain has peaked.
A peaceful end is all I ask for.
We will be right back. During this break in the action, if you have a story idea, send it to me. You can email it to me. You can message me on Instagram. You can message me on Twitter. You can message me on all the ways to send it to me. Send me ideas. I'll shout you out. I like it. I don't know everything. Send me ideas. All right, back to the show. Oh, you took the Falcons? And you did it.
I did it.
Wow.
They weren't the one that
But you
lost.
just did all parlay.
Yeah. So it's, every team has to win.
And we're back, and welcome to our sports gambling thing. We have decided that Weights and Fish is now going to represent when a comic is on stage, and this is JC, so I'll let you say this.
Yeah. So it's when you are at a comedy show, and you can tell that the comedian is actively trying to get a crowd work video for TikTok or Instagram Reels. You may scream,
We got Weights and Fish!
I will start doing that at shows now. The next show I do, because every show I go to, that is what they are doing.
It is a nightmare.
It is a nightmare. It is a hellscape.
So how do you?
What do you do for a living? I hate it. Stop doing it. It's bad. You're bad. You're ruining it. For all, there's Weights and Fish. We got Weights and Fish. Ruining comedy.
It is ruining comedy. It's an absolute nightmare. I've been describing it, particularly these heckler videos, where I'm like, the only way I can describe it is like, it's like if you were a punter,
Yeah.
and it's a blocked punt.
Oh
right?
my god.
A heckler is a blocked punt. It's a bad situation. Now, sometimes a blocked punt can actually turn out good, and it's
Yeah,
fun. And so every
yeah.
now and then, once a year.
Yes.
If
But you shouldn't go out trying to get your punt blocked.
Yes. We're showing these highlight reels like they're good. I'm like, every time this happens, it's bad. We should not be having this many blocked punts. Something's going wrong.
And you're encouraging people to try to block punts more.
Seem to be
Now they're becoming rogue punt blockers.
That happened to me at a show this weekend.
Oh.
A guy was like, "Well, like it's a comedian, it's your job to deal with hecklers." I'm like, "No, it's not.
No.
No."
I'm trying to help you. Hey, brother, I'm trying to help. Listen, I'm trying to get you a TikTok clip.
Ugh. I'm just like,
How do you guys know each other?
we got
Weights and Fish. Weights and Fish.
Now, our next story. Our next story is a more serious story, but it was one that unfortunately, and I knew it the second it happened, because the story happened, and I was like, oh, maybe we'll talk about it, maybe we won't. And then once it bled into CNN world, because I've had a long-standing belief, which is sports are great because sports it's issues discussed in the sports world, which is great, and we all know the rules of sports.
Yes.
So we're all having rational discussions. The second a sports story, Kaepernick being the golden child of this, leaves sports. The amount of takes where I'm like, nope, that doesn't even that's just not a thing. That's not a part of it,
Yeah.
From people being like, Kaepernick should be a starter today, and it's like, it doesn't really, to people being like, he was always terrible. It's like, no, not really, truly.
No. He is a capable backup quarterback.
Yes, we all know where he is. There's an in-between. We just know what it is.
And the money he's asking for is not what those players of that caliber make.
Nobody is going to pay that amount.
No.
It's just what it is. It's a
what
problem.
it is.
I also understand why he's asking for that amount, because he's making a lot of money through what he does, which is important what he does.
Yes.
So why would he go back? It all makes sense if you know the sports world.
And now with leading into not to push it into this, but this is a reason why not to go back.
Yes. So the quarterback we're about to see is... Oh, and also just so everybody knows... I have a COVID test I have to take for a production, and I said just not between 12 and 1, and she's going to be here at some point. So at some point in the middle of this story, I will be running outside to take a COVID test. I specifically asked to not have it during this section, and this is when that was the angry text response they both saw during the break, where I went, gotta be kidding. So I will be...
Is there a window where you have something you're doing?
It's like,
that's when I'll be there.
12 to 1:30 if that's possible. Okay, great.
Then we'll be there when you need us not to be.
Okay. So I will be running outside to have my nose swabbed for the 700th time in my life.
Yep.
How many times? So this is last Sunday's game against the Buffalo Bills. A quarterback by the name of Tua Tagovailoa. This is the only clip we are going to show. We will not be showing the second clip. I want to be very clear, because it is upsetting. But what you're about to see is a quarterback who is not here, because it cuts away before. But in a second, you will see him throw this ball away. A good throw, by the way.
Good
Incredible.
throw on the run, off the back foot.
But this is him.
It's a late hit for sure.
Late hit, flag thrown, bang. So it seems like his head hits. Now then he gets up. You can see him shaking his head, which is, a classic concussion thing. Then he stumbles, and he's grabbing his head, and groggy, and grabbing him.
Yeah, has to help him up.
So he is led back to the locker room, where NFL takes concussions extremely seriously.
Yes.
So when you go back to
I think that the NFL puts on a strong front of taking concussions very seriously.
yes, and I genuinely think do take it seriously because I think that there is a real. We talked about it a lot. There was a movie called Concussion. Will Smith. We're right on it. I think a lot of people are aware of the problem, and I think the NFL actively does a lot of. I mean, they were wearing stupid things on the top of their helmets all preseason, looking like absolute idiots.
I mean, here's the thing: if they start wearing them in the games, it's over.
Right. And for those of you who don't watch,
how dumb
for those of you that don't watch training camp footage, there are basically pillows put on top of players' helmets.
It doesn't seem like it should help, but I guess it does.
It seemed like a doctor ran out of ideas.
Yeah.
It's called a guardian cap. Noah's seen it for the first time and
They are
upset.
very silly.
Hilarious. And so the aliens don't get in there.
It's an actual idea an actual doctor came up with. So they take it very seriously. So this injury happens. Astoundingly, to many of us who saw that hit, he returns for the second half of the game.
Unbelievable.
Everybody was like, huh?
What?
It sure seemed like he was concussed. Yes. And they go, oh, no. It was
It's his
back.
It's his ankle.
Back and ankle injury. That's why he stumbles.
Ankle. So, my personal opinion, he looks concussed. And there's supposed to be spotters for it.
They spotted it because here's the thing. He went back to the room where a doctor does the test. So it was spotted.
Yes.
This is
supposed to be an independent doctor.
Doctor.
Right.
Who
does not work for the Miami Dolphins.
Does not work for the Miami Dolphins.
But it is the same doctor.
Interesting. What does that mean?
This is a Dolphins home game. That doctor's the same doctor at every Dolphins home game.
Yes. And spoiler alert, that doctor has been fired.
No shit.
Yeah.
So he returns to the game, plays the rest of the game. At the end of the game, they go, he doesn't have a concussion. He doesn't have a concussion.
He's totally cool. Also, they win that game.
They win that game.
With his play.
Plays incredibly well.
Plays incredibly well.
Seems good afterwards. Yeah. Is talking.
Lucid does an interview.
Many of us go, all right, I guess
he wasn't.
Guess he wasn't. Just they look like the whole thing. The whole thing with his head.
Yeah, because he gets up and he looks like he's got his bell rung.
Yes.
So
4 days later, on Thursday Night Football, removed from what we were told isn't a concussion.
Right.
He takes a hard hit. It is one of the worst post-hit reactions I've seen.
Absolutely. His hands
go like this.
Yeah, he had a muscle reaction.
Yes. It happens in boxing a lot, so that's why I knew what it was, because they'll do this.
Yep.
So I actually was very quick to know what I was seeing.
And even the announcers, I heard one announcer go oh boy, this is bad. And then the other one went, no, it looks like maybe he just got a stinger on his elbow. And I'm like, both elbows? Mm-hmm. Both elbows.
Both elbows. And he seems to be, he was carted off, went straight to the hospital.
Yep. But then released.
Discharged that night from the hospital.
Yeah.
Flew back with the team.
They
claim, according to the coach, he was watching, what was the movie? Oh, MacGruber. He was watching MacGruber on the right back, laughing.
So having a great time. I mean, that's a good concussion movie.
Yeah. That's a fun one.
Anybody who watches that is a picture of health.
MacGruber is a great movie.
I love that movie.
Underrated as all.
I don't like that it's getting swept up into this. I don't like what you did, McDaniel. I don't like it.
There has since been a lot of talk about what happened. Mm-hmm. This then spread to CNN. Here's what, if you've heard this story from outside of football, here's one thing that I will tell you is not true, because I've seen this now multiple times, is the coach said to the doctor, no, he doesn't have a concussion. Say he doesn't have a concussion. 0% chance the coach is involved in this decision.
Yeah.
That just needs to be known. This is not a coach thing. We are not in 1970s football where a coach is going,
get out there.
Get back out there.
Give him a shot and get him out there.
Just not true.
It's tough because he is the face of the
Yep.
organization.
Yep.
So he's out in front. So everyone is blaming him. I do not think it's his fault.
Insane. I feel very confident
Yeah.
that it is not him. I would give it a very low percentage.
Yeah.
That he is involved in any way other than hearing a doctor go, he doesn't have
He's
concussion, going, all right,
Then get him in.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. The
Okay,
minute you hear
he's not a
he is
humanitarian.
Yeah, exactly. Like, like you go, I'm sure there's a conversation, and maybe at most you could say maybe he should have erred on the side of caution and went, bud, you're banged up.
Yeah.
You sit out.
But it's tough because a independent doctor who he is told to trust and is told, if this guy says somebody's concussed, I don't give a fuck what that
Right,
player says.
yeah.
He's concussed. You
Right.
listen to this doctor, and this doctor goes, it's actually a back and ankle injury.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine.
He's fine.
The
If
coaches-
he can play through the pain. We can give him a shot for the back and ankle injury.
Could we all?
Tua wants to play. You
Tua
know
wants
that.
to- for sure.
He comes like
Well, you wanted to. I mean, you've
you
been through
wanna
it.
play.
You want to play.
You want to play.
You're-
Like, you do not want to go, I'm done. Nobody wants to. It's a big game, too. It's not, it's a Thursday night football that used to be a bullshit time slot. It's not anymore.
Nope.
Amazon Prime has pumped it up. It is
Insanely
a
big.
national.
Now, on a side note,
Yeah.
Prime. Let's figure it out with the streaming. Lot of buffering issues.
Yeah, big time.
Got to tell you, as a football fan and as somebody who believes in the Amazon machine, figure it out.
Get on it.
You can deliver things
Jeffrey,
to me.
get on it.
You can deliver things to me in 2 seconds.
Jeff, we know you're fucking watching.
Yeah.
Fix
Figure
it.
Jeff, you
Figure
get
it
the
out.
weights out of them fish.
Also,
We got
Bezos. We got weights of fish. Also, Bezos, while we're here, please buy the Washington Commanders. Anyway, so while we're talking about it. So yes, the coach is not involved. And I think that is a narrative I keep seeing. Cannot stress enough. Feel very confident.
Yeah.
The doctor should be fired.
You better believe it.
Disbarred. What do you say to a doctor? Disdoctored?
I think you revoke their medical license.
Revoke their medical license?
I think that's what it would be. It's
Nice.
yeah,
It
bar
doesn't
as
roll,
lawyer.
but doesn't roll off the tongue
yeah.
like a bard.
I got one. You kill him.
There we go.
Take that doctor out into the square and punish him.
You show him what a concussion's like. You give him 2 concussions in 5 days.
Yeah, you bring in a new doctor.
Bring in a new doctor.
Bring in a new doctor.
Two
I
is
think
obvious.
they also should implement, like, they should rotate doctors.
They're going to rotate doctors. I think there's going to be a bunch of things that change
Yeah.
as a result of this. It was a horrific, as a football fan. It's also this thing of like these football fans. It's like, let me tell you something. There was not a Twitter account of football fans that wasn't like, dear God, why was he on the field?
And then and I am upset about that Prime replayed it multiple. Like, they were pretty
1,000
heavy
times.
about showing it.
Uh-huh.
I think it happened. We saw it. Let's move on.
Yep.
It's not something his family wants to see. You know,
Absolutely
like,
not.
It's tough. It's tough.
It's a tough injury.
to watch.
Yeah. I was like, I'll show this one. I'm not showing that second injury. If
He's
you
a
wanna look it up-
resilient, tough guy. I don't know if he bounces back from this.
I think he will because here's what I do. My hopeful side says,
Yeah.
the fact he was discharged that night
It's big.
means that whatever was going on was not, because those doctors now are not. Let's say the first doctor. Those
Yeah.
are multiple doctors.
Yeah,
If they're
they're just
discharging
the
him,
hospital.
that
This
means
is where, yeah.
there's no brain bleed, which is the real scare. There's nothing
Yeah.
big. He has a concussion. I think he'll be out a couple weeks.
Yeah,
for
Still
sure.
got great taste in movies. We know
He's
that.
watching MacGruber
He's watching MacGruber.
and laughing.
You know.
He's laughing. But absolute nightmare. If you don't watch sports, you've heard about this story. That is what happened. That is the story.
I think here's the question: are the Dolphins liable at all? You know.
I think yes. I think if
Yeah.
anybody's liable, it's because it's going to stem back to that doctor. That doctor is
That doctor-
the one person who is really fucked up.
And the team doctors as well, like the one,
Yes.
leading up to the game and clearing him to go, and
Yes.
there should have been, a
leading
lot
up-
more checks and balances.
Leading up to that Thursday game, somebody should have been like, I understand he's not a concussion protocol. Can we quickly just do a concussion check?
Yeah.
I know the other guy said you don't have one.
But let's just do it again.
Let's just do it again.
Let's just be on top of this.
Yeah.
Let's just try and keep you. And now here's the thing: it might come out that they fucking did that.
I know.
They might have totally done that.
And by the way, the fact he's discharged that night does say, I don't think he had 2 concussions in 2 days. I think he probably had something. He got
his bell rung.
Genuinely bell rung, which is like such a terrible phrase.
It is. It is.
That they used to mean, which used to be code for concussion.
Yes. Right.
You got your bell rung 700 times.
So many times.
But
got shook up.
Yep.
There's so many things like he got,
he got his bell rung or whatever. But
he took a tough hit.
A
late hit.
Definitely smacked his head.
He smacked the shit out of his head.
But he's discharged that night, so I'm hoping there's nothing that serious. But doctor's going to get in massive trouble. Already in massive trouble, for sure. Going to have more massive trouble.
Absolutely.
And then it's going to go, okay, well, who hired the doctor? Who did that? So that's where I see the Dolphins getting in trouble. I don't see the coach involved in any way. And that is the one person who I keep hearing mentioned being like, where is the coach to you guys involved?
Here's the thing. He is not a medical professional.
Yeah.
He's a soft-spoken guy. That's not helping him.
Yes.
He's like smarmy.
He's a weird guy.
He's got like a...
That is
like
one of the...
he's like, there's quotes of him being like, well, now that I'm the head coach, I have to take showers. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yes, that is a real quote that he gave.
Yeah,
that is real. That is real.
Quote.
He used to not take shower. He used to just sleep at the facility.
And just be there the whole time.
Like, I got to shower because I have to talk to people.
Oh, now I got to be up here and talk to
people.
He's a nerd.
But
he's a little creep.
But then what's interesting about him is... They say his best quality as a coach is players love this guy.
Right.
Players love this nerd.
Yeah. Because he's not trying to be like, I know what you're doing. He's enamored by the sport, and so I think he really looks up to the players.
Yes.
Which is a rarity with coaching.
Which I think in this case is only going to help him more, because if the players trust him, if he doesn't have this reputation of putting players in uncomfortable positions,
the team's going to stand by him for sure.
The sports world, the players, nobody has gone after him. It is the second it spread to CNN that I started seeing his face, and I was like, "What are?"
It's the let me talk to your manager thing.
Yeah,
it's like, who's the guy who's running this shit?
He's the face of the Dolphins in this. So like the Dolphins are being,
And with that, we will go to our final stories. / I'm about to take a COVID test.
You doggity.
Right back in, nose swab done. This is where
look how clean that nose is. They went in and got all those boogies.
I'll tell you what, they're not going as deep these days.
Really?
Very low.
They don't want you to test positive.
I think.
This is the same thing that happens with the goddamn concussion protocol. They're clearing Danny, but they don't want to find it.
And I've been coughing for days. Yes. So going to Canada, I came back up the stairs, and this is where we do quick hits. Usually we do quick stories, but let's hear this quick story.
Yeah,
you were going to Canada. Anybody who flies back and forth to Canada should know that it is still.
You got to wear a mask on the plane still.
Do you still have to test? Do you still have to do the app?
Not if you're vaccinated.
Do you have to do the app or no? Just good to go now.
Oh, you have to go like, hey,
arrive can, the whole thing, and then going back into America, do you have to test? No more. Okay, good.
No. Coming into America, they're like, we don't give a fuck. Come on in.
Okay,
bring it in with you. We like it here.
when I did something like a couple months ago, it was like Canada. I didn't have to test in, and then coming back, they were like, you have to test. And I was like, excuse me, America.
Yeah, it's tough. Now it's just like, if you're traveling internationally, just make sure you check the rules. Because they are at a constant change.
They're at a constant change. They have very specific tests.
Very specific
Don't just think you got yourself a little something. Say, I did a thing. You're good to go.
They will keep you or they will not let you in.
Oh, yeah.
It will be bad for you. But I was flying to Vancouver to do some stand-up comedy.
Wow.
And there was a guy who did not know that you needed to wear a mask on the plane. And he had a full-on fucking hissy fit, is what I will call it. He had a temper tantrum, and everyone, it was just like, it slowed everything down. Like, and here's the thing, like, it's the rule. Just fucking do it. Like, I get that you're like, freedom, rock, flag, and eagle. Fuck you, dude. I want to get me on this sky bus and get me to the next place.
Aren't you, not to be a Sebastian Maniscalco, but aren't you embarrassed?
Oh,
don't you feel
no one has shame anymore?
Yeah, like, aren't you embarrassed? This whole flight is stopped because you're yelling,
staring at
aren't you just The amount
with his wife standing next to him, wearing a mask.
The amount
embarrassed.
The amount I would be embarrassed. The amount I'd be like, the amount even if like, because I remember one point when you had to wear masks, I like had a question. She's like, keep back on. And I like,
oh my God,
the mortifying of like, and I know that, and I'm so, and of course I will.
I didn't know.
I was just
it was
down for
a
second.
natural
It was
reaction.
Stupid of me. I was
so fucking sorry.
yeah, like, oh, you're so embarrassed.
Yes, we need to. When people behave that way, we need to publicly shame them in every capacity. It's the only thing. I know we're all so fucking positive these days about fucking everything, but if we don't shame people, they will fucking behave wrong, and that's not cool. Mm-hmm. This guy was making a fucking, and I didn't fucking lose my mind because he was too far out in front of me.
Right.
But if I would have been near it, I would have been like, "Don't get on the fucking plane, then, bud."
Yeah.
Like, do not get on the fucking plane then, and we will fly. This plane is going to Vancouver.
Right. Please. Yeah. We all have to be there.
Literally delayed it.
All right, we're going to do one final story, and it's a quick one, but it's important. We've been talking on this show for a while about mascots being out of control. Mm. Mascots are taking too big risks.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to tell mascots,
chill out.
Settle down.
Hey, calm it down.
This is BYU's mascot.
Yeah.
Doing this.
Yep.
This is
the fail right here.
It doesn't. Here's the crazy part. This doesn't fail. This
No,
doesn't. Well, that's a little bit of a fail.
No, right there. He fails right there, and then he doesn't.
Yeah. This
Woof.
has to be stopped. Yeah. This can't keep happening because he's going down hard next time. I understand that this time he pulled it off.
Right.
And I wanted to feature this one because I want to say, I see when they pull it off too.
Oh my God, that's so shaky.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's shaking, falling. This is not worth it. Whatever they're paying you isn't
not
worth.
very much, I don't think.
Isn't worth it, mascots. Stop doing this shit.
Going too far. I mean, I get it. I get why they're doing it. That's viral. And it's tough. Danny, this person in that costume, they're dressed up like a cougar wearing ski goggles.
Cosmo.
They want attention.
Yes.
So if they were like, hey, someone's going to pitch something and they're going to do it, and it worked. So now, therefore, what's next?
And that's the scary part.
Escalation.
Because we have been on this show for a while. I've been talking about AJ Dillon running over a mascot. Mascots, multiple mascots playing these peewee games, tearing their ACLs, taking out kids. I've been like, we have to slow it down, mascots. Relax. Chill it out. Nobody needs this. We don't.
Philly fanatic is going to pull a loaded gun
like,
and fire it into the sky.
I'm gonna be like, so
when someone hits a home run.
Yeah, it's like every mascot needs to take it down a notch. And I literally just saw this one, and everybody was like, so cool, and I was like, not cool, not cool. We have kids barely holding these tables on top of each other. This is not safe.
Yeah, because it's a college student in that costume as well.
Please,
yeah,
I beg of you, BYU mascot.
Heavily insured. I mean, here's the thing: if